So, what do you say? Let's dive in. To close off the hype with the friendship games, this is Trixie and the Dazzlings Kick Zombie Buns in a Mall. I love that fucking title still. By Alex Magnet.
By the time... Hey, do you remember about that time I told you about my buddy Keith? the fun we'll probably have. I hope.
Yes.
I hope we'll have fun. Anyways...
Trixie sucked on a pomegranate mango smoothie in the middle of the mall's food court, as was her Wednesday custom, watching with disdain as a group of high school students passed by, laughing amongst themselves about something insipid, Trixie was sure. Even the sweet fruit she was sipping couldn't quell the bitterness she felt towards her fellow students. It's not that they were all annoying individually, it's more that the entire class of subhumans known as high school students was, on the whole, entirely insufferable, and it pained Trixie to no end to have to count herself among them. Luckily, however, it was her final year, and soon she'd be free from the wretched idiots that surrounded her.
Huh. She's gonna call herself the great and powerful Trixie still?
I have no idea.
We'll find out.
It was at this point Trixie noticed people were starting to stare at her. She must have been talking to herself out loud again. Staring at one of the people who dared to look at her, a 5-year-old boy, Trixie stood up and swiped her drink off the table. Tossing it into a nearby trash can as she walked away, Trixie briefly recalled something the school counselor had once told her.
And?
You know, Trixie, if you find yourself often talking out loud when no one is listening, that can be a sign of insecurity. Perhaps you should try talking with your friends instead.
What friends?
Obviously, Trixie hadn't taken what she said seriously because she was just a licensed psychiatrist and who listened to psychiatrists anyway.
Numerous people?
Although the thought did remind her that she didn't have any friends. Oh, there you go.
Well, that answers my question.
Not that that bothered her or anything, as she often told herself. Friends just slowed you down like cumbersome baggage. The only people who had them were fools and horses, and she was certainly not a horse.
Wait, how is she aware of Equestria?
I have no idea.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Just as she was about to leave the food court, Trixie happened to see a table occupied by people she'd never seen before. One of them, who looked like the leader of the group, mostly by virtue of having the largest hair, sat in the middle, leaning in to whisper to her compatriots. The girl to her right was busy stuffing tacos into her stupid face, while the girl on the left merely stared in disgust.
Huh, the Dazzlings! There they are!
Yeah. Not being an expert in villainous looks, Trixie couldn't say for sure, but if she were a gambling man, she'd say their hair looked pretty villainous. But that was neither here nor there. She was mainly curious to hear what they were talking about. Inching closer, behind a support pillar, Trixie placed her hands on either side and leaned around, straining her ears to listen. With a tiny bit more of a stretch, she started to hear what the middle one was saying. And already everybody's going, tacos! In the chat.
Calm down with the tacos. Go to Taco Bell if you want them.
What the Dazzlings are saying. And once we've got them all under our control, we'll take over the school and use it to harvest enough magic to return to Equestria. I don't think they remember. I don't even remember anything. I don't remember them saying anything about like that in Rainbow Rocks. Do you? I mean, I know they were trying to get the Equestrian magic, but at no point did they say anything about returning to Equestria.
I don't think I remember anything like that.
I'm sure I'll see it again once I watch both films, anyways.
Yeah.
The girl with the ponytail on the right, her mouth full of tacos, said, "I'm totally stoked to go back, too. These tacos are pretty great, but for realsies, pony souls are way tastier."
Psychonauta Dusk?
Moving on. The pigtailed one on the left shook her head in disgust. "You think everything tastes pretty great, Sonata. You've been saying it non-stop since we got here, even after you ate that puppy, which I still can't believe you did, by the way."
Okay. That's something we should not be admitting in public.
Sonata, what do you have to say? Sonata protested with a pouting face. "But it looks so cute! That's how it works in Equestria. The cuter the pony, the more delicious their souls."
I bet there are quite a thrill with children. You
Yeah. You think they ain't the Cutie Mark Crusaders already?
If they would. If they get back to Equestria, they could.
Yeah, but we're not in Equestria anymore, Dorothy, said Pigtails. You can't just eat every cute little thing you see. It's not a frown. Boo, you whore! That's lame! The girl in the middle rubbed her temple with increasing annoyance. Would you two just shut up? We're sitting here trying to finalize our plans for total domination, and you're talking about eating puppies. She shook her head. What a cruel twist of fate that I ended up with the two most incompetent fools. It wasn't a cruel twist of fate, silly, said Sonata cheerily. It was our mom, since we're sisters.
Sisters?
That's something I don't think I've heard before.
I don't think that's even possible. Well, then again, I don't think it's even clarified as to how they were related or why they were in a group.
Yes, Adagio. You're not gonna blame Mom for Sonata and I, are you? Said the pigtailed one. Adagio turned to the girl on her left. Arya, when we get back to Equestria, remind me to throw you back to the portal so you stay trapped here for all eternity. Arya rolled her eyes. Love you too, sis.
Sibling love!
Trixie slunk behind the pillar. Back behind the pillar. What a boring conversation, she mumbled under her breath. I thought they might be talking about something interesting, but instead it's just the usual high school gossip. I should have guessed.
That ain't usual high school gossip. What the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, I have no idea. Hang on a second. What was it? Sorry, I thought I heard something. I heard something. Excuse me.
Yeah, I thought I heard something from your end.
It's just the dogs. That's figures.
Oh.
And I just had to turn my fan on. It's not blowing into the mic, is it?
No, that's the least of my worries at this point.
Alright. Turning to walk away, Trixie took a few steps before she stopped dead in her tracks and whipped back around. Wait, what? Oh, now she realizes it.
Man, she is fucking slow.
Yeah. Adagio and her sisters had already left the table and were walking away when Trixie took a look. She swore under her breath for her bad timing. Oh, there you go. Sighing, she stuffed her hands in her pockets and headed towards the food court exit. It was probably nothing important anyway. Doing her best to avoid all the other mall patrons, Trixie shuffled through the crowd towards a row of double doors that marked the exit. It was relatively empty once she'd escaped the throng of mall-goers, and only a lone boy stood in her way, huh? I wonder who this could be. She tried to go around him, shaking her head in annoyance as he stubbornly refused to move. However, much to her annoyance, he stepped in front of her every time she moved left or right, always with his back to her. After repeating this a few times, Trixie curled her fists into a ball and growled. Move it, kid! I'm just trying to leave the stupid mall.
I wonder what the kid says. Wow, final.
His shoulders slumping and his head dangling down.
Wow, final prank called it. It's a zombie child.
Trixie rolled her eyes. I don't speak idiot, idiots. Just move! She grabbed his shoulder and shoved him to the side. Well.
Rough, are we? Save for
As
the
boy
bedroom.
Spun around. Yeah. As the boy spun around from the force of Trixie's push, his eyes met hers and Trixie stared him down. He moaned, a dead look in his eyes. His mouth hung open slightly, and a bit of drool hung off the corner of his lips. His clothes were covered in dirt and made it look like he'd been rolling around in mud for the past week, which might also have explained the smell emanating from him. He smelled like a rotting corpse. Not that Trixie would know what that smell would be.
Okay, questioning.
Crossing her arms, Trixie grunted. Is that all you have to say for yourself? Trixie shook her head. Idiots. I'm surrounded by idiots. Reaching for the door, Trixie attempted to move past the boy when his hand shot out and grabbed her wrist. Her eyes went wide and she stared at him. Oh boy. I think someone's about to die. He moaned. His mouth opened slowly as he lowered his head towards Trixie's wrist. Ripping her arm out of his grasp, Trixie slapped the boy across the face.
Damn!
Don't touch me! What's the matter with you? A gurgle was his only response. Trixie shook her head. Whatever. Just don't touch me again, or next time I won't be so nice. Doing her best to ignore his vacant stare, Trixie reached for the door again. This time, however, when his hand reached for Trixie's, she snapped her arm back, quickly forming her hand into a fist. Cocking her arm, she sucker punched the boy right in the mouth, knocking him to the ground. Wiping her knuckles against her sweater, Trixie looked at the unconscious boy. I warned you, didn't I?
Well, fuck!
Oh, my goodness. Excuse me. She stepped over his limp body and pushed past the glass doors, setting foot outside. It was a beautifully sunny afternoon, with not a cloud in the sky. Excuse me, Skype call, go away. Or even any annoying birds chirping or anything like that. In fact, the only thing that could possibly ruin this perfectly warm afternoon was a parking lot filled with aimlessly shambling people with the same dead look in their eyes. Unfortunately, that was exactly what Trixie got.
Oh, fuck.
Somehow I knew that couldn't have been the only one.
Well, that's normally what happens. So, when you see one, you know there's gotta be more.
Her shoulders sagging, Trixie groaned. Ugh, finding my car is going to be such a pain. Trixie has a car?
Huh. I figured she'd be riding around in a fucking camper.
Fishing her keys out of her pocket, Trixie aimed them at the massive bodies and hit the alarm button. Somewhere in the back, a car's horn beeped loudly, causing all the people in the parking lot to turn towards it. Oh, great, it's the kind of zombie that are attracted to sound.
Huh. Almost like High School to the Dead.
Trixie said, throwing her hands up. Oh, great! Now they're going to drool all over it. What is this, an idiot convention? Far from it.
I don't think Trixie's got that point yet.
Pardon me. With a heavy sigh, Trixie resigned herself to her unfortunate fate and prepared to wade out into the sea of mindless fools. She had only taken her first step off the sidewalk curb when she noticed a young girl running her way. Trixie wasn't sure if the girl was late for something or just stupid, since running through a parking lot was a surefire way to get yourself killed by a car. Very quickly, however, getting hit by a car was becoming the least of the girl's problems, as Trixie watched her get grabbed by one of the shambling people.
Is she gonna even take the hint? They're just zombies?
Let's see. Trixie reached into her pocket, pulling out her cell phone, ready to call the police. Before she even got a chance to dial the number, she realized it wasn't going to matter much. With a dozen different people grabbing at her, the girl struggled to fight them off, unsuccessfully, and soon one of them had sunk his teeth into her neck, ripping back a chunk of flesh and causing the girl to scream for a brief second before she was silenced by a person pulling her head off.
Man, this got a little gratuitous.
Didn't it? Trixie slowly slipped her cell phone back into her pocket and turned back to the mall. Something told her that what she saw was a bit out of the ordinary, and as such probably required a modicum of caution in dealing with. You think? Trixie noticed that there was a distinctly different atmosphere from when she had left. Before, when there had been laughing and talking amongst friends, there was now screaming and running across blood-soaked floors. It was at this point Trixie began to suspect that something bad might be happening.
After about, a couple minutes? She is definitely slow in the thinking department.
Oh right, because I planned this. How incredibly foolish of me to unleash a zombie apocalypse upon the world. Really, what was I thinking?
What?
I do not know.
Oh, let's see who said that.
Trixie could hear someone on the floor above her shouting. She just fought her way through a sea of undead just to make it to this escalator, and she wasn't going to stop now, especially if there was someone else up there who could help her. Her blue hoodie soaked red with blood, Trixie unzipped the jacket and wrapped it around her fist. There was one last zombie in front of her, and she was getting past this old lady if it killed her, which it might. blaming you, Adagio. I'm just saying, if you hadn't screwed up and got us trapped here in the human world, we wouldn't be fighting off zombies in the first place. Oh,
well,
dear.
Looks like the Dazzlings stayed in the mall.
Adagio? Said Trixie, raising her eyebrow. Wait, I recognize that name. It was the girls from before, but what did she mean about human world? It seemed like a weird thing for a human to say. Obviously, you have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Obviously, this would require further investigation, though Trixie also decided that it'd be best to first deal with the zombie biting her hand. Don't worry, it's still in the sweater, so... Raising her sweater-covered fist, Trixie dragged the old lady zombie with her until her snarling face was right in front of her. Trixie lifted her foot and kicked the old lady square in the stomach, knocking the zombie over. At this point, Trixie figured her best option was to run away. The zombie reached for her legs as she ran past, but fortunately the current fashion trend for knee-high boots with thick soles, so she was safe. I have no comment.
Everybody seems to be wearing those, mostly.
Trixie made it to the escalator and sprinted up just in time to see the three girls from before beating off a group of male zombies.
I think that's supposed to be some sort of feminist innuendo or something, but fuck it.
Sonata, watch out! Shouted Aria as she threw a punch at one zombie, hitting it in the cheek. The zombie crumbled to the ground, leaving Sonata standing with a blank expression on her face. What? Asked Sonata. Oh, pfft.
Oh, God.
Aria ground her teeth, shaking her head. Sonata, we're in the middle of a zombie nightmare. You're gonna have to pay more attention if you don't want to die. Sonata cocked her head to the side. What?
So this one's just as dumb as the other. How many dumb Sonatas do I have to go through?
Behind you, you idiot! Cried Aria, grabbing Sonata and pulling her away. Just another zombie made a grab for her arm. I'm getting called back to Borderlands 2. Turn around, pretty lady!
I just missed that reference. What?
Borderlands 2. I'm sure somebody knows what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna have to look that up then.
Anyways, Aria grit her teeth, punching the zombie in the stomach before grabbing it by the arm and swinging it towards the balcony, where it flipped over the railing and splattered on the ground. I freaking hate zombies! Ugh! Aria ran her fingers through her hair, pushing her bangs out of her face. Trixie realized that they hadn't noticed her yet, but if she were to try and approach them, they'd probably think she was a zombie and beat her to death. So she decided calling out to them first would be a better option. Hey! She shouted, waving one hand while cupping the other one over her mouth. None of you are bitch, right? Adagio's hair spun gracefully as she twirled around, a scowl on her face and a bat in her hand. Ooh!
Ooh!
The queen bitch ain't fucking around. I had to. Soon the other two were looking at Trixie as well. No, we're fine, said Adagio. What about you? She raised an eyebrow, lifting her bat. They get you? Trixie shook her head. No, I'm clean. She glanced down at her bloody sweater. All right, this isn't my blood. I was just using it to protect myself from being bit. Adagio's eyes narrowed. Prove that you're not bit. Okay. Trixie quickly unwrapped her fist and showed off her clean hand. She twisted it around, showing them all sides and her wrists. See? I promise I'm okay. I was hoping we could team up together. I know a safe place. Aria leaned towards Adagio and whispered something into her ear. Sonata, meanwhile, kicked in the face of a zombie that was trying to stand up behind them. Hesitating a moment, Adagio eventually said, Where? Smiling, Trixie slung her hoodie over her back and started walking towards them. The roof. But you'll need me to get up there. I know the key code. How would you know that? Asked Aria. Trixie shrugged. There's a glass ceiling above the food court. Sometimes I like to go on the roof and make fun of all the idiots who spend their time hanging out in the mall. Ah. Wiping the zombie blood from her brow, Sonata looked up at Trixie. Wait, you make fun of people for hanging out in the mall while at the mall? Isn't that, like, hypocritical? Don't you have friends to hang out with?
Oh, nice reminder.
Trixie rolled her eyes. What are you, my therapist? Arya laughed. She waved her hand dismissively at Sonata. Don't worry about her. She's an idiot. I totally get you, though. I can't believe all these idiots spend all their time in this stupid place. Trixie grinned. Right? It's stupid, isn't it? Well, they're friends already.
Yay!
Hey, watch it! Shouted Adagio suddenly as her eyes went wide. Her free hand shot out and grabbed Trixie's shoulder, throwing her into Arya's arms. The old lady zombie that Trixie had fled from had managed to make her way up the escalator and was mere inches from Trixie when Adagio had pulled her out of the way. I got this one. Putting her front forward into strong stance, Adagio cocked her arms back, raising the baseball bat above her head like she was lining up for a line drive. Her grip tightened around the bat just as she swung it with all the force she could muster. The bat struck the old lady's drooling face with all the force of a truck, smashing her head like a watermelon and sending bits flying across the halt walkway. Ha-ha! Home run!
Oh, man. Batting 1,000.
Smirking, Adagio wiped the bat off on her sleeve and rested it on her shoulder. Now then, how do we get to the roof? Still in a bit of shock and resting in Arya's arms, Trixie's eyes went wide. It's over there, but we'll have to go through JC Penney's to get there.
Product placement.
So JC Penney's exists in the human world? I don't fucking know.
Just stop fucking questioning it, man. I tried, it just hurt my head.
Arya grimaced. I'm not sure which is worse, having to go through a JC Penney's or having to fight off hundreds of zombies with my shoe. JC Penney's, said Trixie. Definitely JC Penney's. I mean, have you seen the women's section? Just kill me now. Wow. Social commentary, everybody.
Yep.
You might get your wish if you don't get moving, said Adagio. Come on, let's get up to the roof. Maybe we can call for a helicopter up there, or something, I don't know. Yeah, wait, said Arya, pushing Trixie out of her arms. She frowned. How is going on the roof supposed to help us? What are we going to do up there? Trixie shrugged. I don't know. You got any better ideas? It's not like we can just run out the front door and call it a day. Sonata rubbed her chin. What if we hide in the food court? How is that going to help? Asked Arya. Free food, duh.
Tempting,
No.
but no.
Arya groaned. Whatever, let's just get up to the roof. I guess there's not really any better options, and at least we can lock the door behind us so maybe we don't die immediately. It's not a gas covering her mouth with her hand. Does it say we're having a slumber party? Sweet! Raising her eyebrow, Trixie leaned towards Arya. Hey, what's up with her? She's some kind of idiot or something? You just kind of ignore her for the most part, Arya whispered back. I think her mom dropped her on her head when she was a baby, repeatedly. Well, that would explain it, said Trixie matter-of-factly.
Ugh.
Yeah. Are you idiots done making out? Said Adagio, her hands on her...
Hands on her hips.
We're still surrounded by zombies, remember? Do you want to maybe take this discussion somewhere else? Arya quickly pushed Trixie out, away from her. We weren't making out! Arya rolled her... Sorry, I'm losing a little wording here. Adagio rolled her eyes. Whatever. I don't care either way. Let's just go. Waving her hand towards the west end of the wall, Adagio added, we can pick up some stuff on the way. I remember seeing a hardware store down over here. Standing close together, the four girls moved as one group, carefully and quietly making their way west through the mall. Fortunately for them, most of the zombies were still milling around on the ground floor, so the second and third floors were relatively safe, for now anyway. The walls were streaked with blood, or maybe it was paint. They've been remodeling this half of the mall, so it really could have gone either way. In any case, Trixie wasn't too fussed about any of this. As far as she was concerned, this was all going rather swimmingly. She'd always said the only way to get all the idiots was for some wording, can't English. She's always said the only way to get rid of all the idiots was for some sort of apocalyptic event to happen, and here it was. Trixie allowed herself a small smile. Well, as they slowly made their way through the mall, passing by dozens of boutiques, hat shops, shoe shops, and those weird, as seen on TV stores that were inexplicably still in business, they came across a group of 3 zombies tearing apart a corpse. Trixie grimaced. I'm going to get blood all over my skirt if we have to pass them. Like it would make it look any worse, said Arya, flipping her hair over her shoulder. That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen. Ow.
Yikes.
Trixie crossed her arms, scowling at Arya. As if you're one to talk. Where'd you find that rag in the garbage? She lifted the hem of Arya's skirt and then dropped it in disgust. I wouldn't be caught wearing dead wearing that hideous thing.
English, man. English.
I know. I can't English tonight. Let me go get some water. I'll be right back.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Hope there's a fucking pic that would describe the MLB character bashing a zombie in. Hopefully. If not, I wonder how much I'm going to have to deal with just trying to find someone who can make it. Fuck that can. Imagine when Shadow plays Dead Rising 3 and meets the psycho that represents the 7 sins. I don't think this guy sounds unpleasant. I don't think I want to deal with him.
Did I miss something?
Final Prank is thinking how you're gonna look when you find in Dead Rising 3 a psycho that represents the 7 deadly sins. And I was pretty much contemplating if there will be a My Little Pony related picture with zombies in it, as like the image holder or something.
Oh.
For when I get this up on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Anyways,
I'll check later.
All right. Arya cocked her head to the side, sneering. Well then, when the zombies kill you, I'll make sure to put it on your corpse. Wow. Oh yeah? Said Trixie, staring back at her. Well, when you die, I'll make sure you dress up... Excuse me. I'll make sure to dress you up in big shoes and a wig, so you at least look like the clown that you are. Wow.
Come on, fuck already.
Speaking of the devil, Snot groaned. Oh my god, would you two kiss already? Sheesh. Trixie's face flushed red, as did Arya's, and the two turned away from each other faster than seemed humanly possible. Before they could say anything else, however, a soft hissing sound came from behind them. All 4 girls stopped and looked at each other with raised eyebrows before glancing to their left, where they saw another person hiding in the shadows. Shadows being a slightly shady area next to an awning, since they were in a well-lit mall, and it's not like there were any real shadows. He waved to them. Hey, you guys gotta help me out. I need to get out of here, man. Between his spiked blue hair and his faux leather Joe. Fuck me dead.
Is it?
Oh, Flash.
Fucking
Trixie knew
hell.
who the guy was immediately. I know. Her eyes narrowed. She leaned over to Adagio and whispered, "We need to get past those zombies, right? And the only way we can do it now is by fighting them." Adagio nodded hesitantly. "Well, I've got a better plan," Trixie smirked. Uh-oh.
How bad is it gonna happen?
She whispered something into Adagio's ear, and soon the other girl was smirking too. Trixie turned to the guy. "You're Flash, right? Flash Sentry?" He slowly got up from where he'd been crouching and walked towards him. "Yeah, bruh, Really?
Bruh.
Bruh. I'm Flash? Wait." He stopped, raising an eyebrow. "Are you from school?" A sly grin sneaking across Trixie's face, she said, "I am, in fact. Remember that time you cut in front of me in line at lunch?" Uh-oh.
Ooh. something bad's about to happen.
I do! Trixie reached forward and grabbed Flash by the hem of his stupid leather sleeve, pulling him forward. Whoa, hey, what are you doing? Said Flash, his eyes growing wide. Hey, zombie idiots, over here! Shouted Trixie as she swung Flash with all her might, launching him into the group of zombies and causing him to crash into them. As Flash screamed, the zombies tearing his arms and legs off in an incredibly gruesome and yet gratifying display, Trixie wiped all her hands off and said, "There we go, distraction!"
So,
and yes,
I smell butt hurt.
And yes, Railroader got the right idea. He did now! Should we have tried to, and Sonata asked, pointing at Flash's rapidly disintegrating body, should we have tried to bring him with us? You know, to scapegoat him later? Trixie and Aria answered simultaneously, nah. Come on, let's go, Adagio said, rolling her eyes. Stepping over Flash's flailing body and the zombies eating him alive, Trixie and her newfound friends sauntered past, heading further west. After a few moments of walking, they came across the hardware store that Adagio had mentioned, but, as Trixie noted, it's locked.
Oh shit. Windows?
Adagio frowned. She kicked metal shutter, rattling it. They must have closed it once they saw the zombies coming. Shoot! Hey, what about that store over there? Said Sonata, pointing to the store adjacent to the one they were standing in front of. Maybe we can get something from there? Trixie, Adagio, and Aria turned to look at the store. All three exchanged glances, then looked at Sonata, their eyebrows raised. The music store? Said the three of them.
I think one good idea came to mind. Let's see if they will act on it.
Trixie scoffed. What are we supposed to do? Sing our way out of this? Ha! Don't be stupid, said Aria. She paused. Okay, well, don't be more stupid. As much as I hate to agree with these fools, said Adagio, they are right. What are we supposed to do with musical instruments? Sonata beamed, using her enormous boots to kick in the glass window. She stepped inside and came back out a moment later with a couple of guitars and a microphone. She tossed the guitars to Aria and Trixie, and the microphone to Adagio, keeping the bass for herself. We're sirens, right? So... She raised her eyebrow expectantly. I believe this could be before they lost their pendants, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. Aria frowned. So we are using music? Cocking her head to the side, Sonata said, What? No! We beat them in the face with them!
Yay!
Finally, one of the smartest things Sonata's ever said.
But wait!
Glanced down at the what?
But wait, what about the microphone?
Aria glanced down and looked back at Sonata. Why did you give me a microphone? Sonata held her hand up, mimicking swinging a lasso. Bolo!
I guess?
Whatever. Shaking her head, Adagio rubbed her palm against her forehead. Slipping the microphone into her pocket, she lifted her bat again and said, I'll just stick with this, thanks. Singing the guitar over her shoulders, Trixie pointed to the end of the west wing of the mall. There, down at the end, that's the JC Penney's. We're almost there. Well, let's not stand around here talking about getting there forever, said Aria, taking the cue from Trixie and strapping her own guitar to her back. She waved for the others to follow her and then headed off towards the department store. Well, it's got interesting.
Huh.
By the time they reached the entrance of the JC Penney's, it was becoming increasingly clear that they weren't going to have an easy time just waltzing through to the back when the stairs to the roof were. Shamming about the lingerie section and around the perfume counters were hundreds upon hundreds of zombies. Although it was hard to tell the difference between them and the average JC Penney shopper, it was made somewhat easier by the fact that most of them were missing limbs and had flesh hanging off of them in various places. Ugh.
Social commentary much? Man, what does the Squire have against the JC Penney?
No idea.
Yikes.
Trixie grimaced, glancing over at Aria. Well, we're going to have to get past them somehow, right? Maybe we can just sneak past them if we hide in the clothes racks? I don't think that'll work, said Aria, pointing to the zombies that splundered aimlessly into said clothes racks. Adagio rubbed her chin. What if we just sprinted through? They don't seem to be that fast. I guess it's worth a try, said Trixie, shrugging. Better than nothing, noted Aria. Come get some! Added Sonata, breaking away from the group and charging forward, her bass guitar held high. Or there's that! Adagio threw her hands up.
Well, I guess she decided to go for the actual frontal approach.
YOLO!
Fuck it!
Fuck it! Screw it, said Trixie, shaking her head. I've always wanted to smash some heads anyway. Letting loose the battle cry that would have made Wotan weep, Trixie brandished her guitar like the axe it was and swung the base of it into some unsuspecting zombie's skull, cracking it in half.
Damn!
Aria and Adagio quickly joined in, the former using her guitar to sweep out the legs from underneath a handful of zombies in one swing, while Adagio's bat rung with every dull thud against the zombie's face. Soon the girls were making their way through the perfume department, whacking zombies left and right, carefully protecting each other from being bit by smashing an uncountable number of zombie brains. 27, 28, 29, cried Adagio, counting another number every time she swung her bat and knocked off some teenager's head, or broke off an old man's arm, or leaving a writhing undead mass of limbs and flesh behind her. Oh, man.
Adagio's fucking on fire!
Yeah. And again, Digital Railroader said, fuck it!
I don't remember that combo weapon. Don't worry.
Aria climbed on top of the jewelry counter and swung her guitar in a wide arc, plowing over the mass of zombies and causing them to tumble into yet more zombies. Sonata, meanwhile, used the butt of her bass to knock a zombie backwards and then leapt onto its body, sliding across the pool of blood on the floor like a surfboarder on a sea of blood, which is a lot less disturbing than one would imagine. Finally, Trixie wore a huge grin as she busted over the chest cavities and craniums of all the people she'd ever hated, which, as it turned out, was nearly everyone.
Getting a little too into it?
I don't blame her. Anyways, unbelievably, they managed to make their way through the majority of the store and were a mere dozens of yards away from the roof access point. It was at this point that they were getting a little cocky. This is easy, remarked Trixie, punching one zombie in the face while using her guitar to break the knees of another one. I could do this all day! Her face covered in blood, Aria grinned. Yeah, this is actually pretty fun. Don't get too full of yourselves, said Adagio as she finished dislodging her bat from the mushy skull of another fallen zombie. We're not quite there yet! Aria waved her hand dismissively. Oh, please, sis, what's the worst that could... Ah! Aria screamed as a zombie grabbed her arm, her mouth opening menacingly. No! Aria! Cried Trixie, spinning around and raising her guitar. But it was too late for her to do anything. The zombie's jaws clamped down around Aria's arm with a sickening crunch. She screamed again, trying to push the zombie off, unsuccessfully. Eventually, she was able to get free once Trixie had beat the zombie over the head, but the damage was already done. Aria held her arm in her hand, and tears streaming down her face.
Damn it. Well, they lost one. Too bad it wasn't a dummy.
Adagio scowled. Shoot! What were you thinking? What did I just say? It's not like I wanted to get bit, shouted Aria, swiping the tears from her eyes. Trixie grabbed Aria by the hand, looking her in the eye. Come on! It won't do any good standing here arguing, Sonata, she yelled, looking around for the third sister. Sonata popped up from behind the clothes rack, a smile on her face. What's up? You have to get out of here. The roof is right there, said Trixie, pointing to the door marked exit. Sonata set off a quick and sloppy salute. No problemo. While Sonata rushed off towards the door, whacking zombies as she went, Adagio and Trixie picked up Aria, putting her arms around their shoulders, and rushed her along towards the door, beating off a few
What?
Beating off again.
Yes, it's dirty, but let's just bear through it.
Yeah. Beating off the few zombies that dared to get close to them, they eventually reached the door, which Sonata had already opened, and piled inside the stairwell. Adagio handed Aria over to Trixie and turned around to slam the door shut, setting setting aside her bat and pulling her out her microphone to tie the door closed. There. That should hold it for a while, she said, picking her bat back up. What if it doesn't? Said Sonata. Well, then it doesn't. What do you want me to do? Come on, girls, said Trixie, lifting Aria up. Let's just get onto the roof and talk up there where we'll be safe, at least. Leaning her head down, she whispered to Aria, Are you okay? Do you feel anything yet? Yeah. Feels like my stomach's turning over itself. I can feel myself dying. Ooh.
Infected. Oh, great.
Aria grabbed Trixie's sleeve and pulled her close. Don't let me turn into a zombie, Trixie. Kill me if you have to, but don't let me turn into one of them. Adagio rolled her eyes. Don't be such a drama queen, Aria. What are you, every character who gets bitten in a zombie movie ever? You're going to be fine. Just watch. What happened to her? Asked Sonata, nodding towards her sister. She got bit, said Adagio, matter-of-factly. Oh, I see, said Sonata, like it was the most normal thing in the world.
Psychonata.
Anyway, what's the key code to the roof, Trixie? Oh, right, that's... It's 1111.
Who's the moron that thought of that code?
The soldier? Sonata whistled. Ooh, that's a good one. I would have never thought of that.
Worst security ever.
Yes. Deciding it would be best to just ignore that comment altogether, Adagio said, Come on! And put her arm around Aria, helping Trixie to lift her up. Together, the three of them and Sonata climbed the steps until they reached the keypad where Adagio put in the code, muttering, Unbelievable. With a click, the door swung open, revealing a zombie-free roof that somehow looked more like the Elysian fields than the asphalt surface than it was. They quickly hurried onto the roof, shutting the door behind them, and then made their way to the edge of the building, peering over the edge. From their vantage point, they could see that the majority of the city was on fire now, and the parking lot was filled with zombies and had a handful of screaming people trying to run away. Wow, this escalated quickly.
Ugh, can't believe we went to hell that fast, in a matter of minutes.
Already noted, well, this sucks.
Uh-huh.
Adagio and Trixie nodded in agreement. Sonata, however, said, It's not so bad if you think about it. At least when we inevitably have to choose suicide to save ourselves from being eaten by zombies, we can jump off the roof.
Sonata? You're scaring us. Stop it.
Yeah. Stepping away from the ledge, Adagio rested her bat against it. She rubbed her chin. Maybe there's some sort of communications array up here that we can tap into and signal for help? Trixie laughed. What do you think this is, NORAD? We're on a mall roof, idiot. The only thing up here is air conditioning units and... Okay, well, that's it, actually. Even still, I'm going to have a look around and see if there's anything that's useful up here, said Adagio. She turned to Sonata, who was busy leaning over the ledge, kicking her legs playfully. Come on, Sonata, you're coming with me. It's best to travel in groups in case we run into any zombies. Okie dokie, sis, whatever you say. Once the two of them had left, Trixie turned to Aria, cradling her in her arms. So, how long do you think you have? Aria frowned. What kind of question is that? How am I supposed to know? She crossed her arms and looked away from Trixie. If I were guessing, judging by how fast the mall was well run with zombies, it probably only takes a few minutes or half an hour at most, so I guess you don't have long.
Wow.
This got dark.
Almost got a little zombie movie-esque. Let's see.
Trixie rubbed the back of her neck. Well, if it makes you feel any better, at least I won't die. She gave an awkward smile. You are the worst at being comforting, said Aria, shaking her head. Oh, whatever. It's not like I needed you to comfort me anyway. If I'm gonna die, then I'm gonna die. It's just... She hesitated, biting her lip. It's just... Trixie felt her heart starting to beat faster. Aria turned slowly to Trixie. Got what are you saying there?
I bet this is going to get a little, smoochy smoochy?
It's just that... I've never even had my first kiss. Called it!
Let's keep going. Wait, it's just saying about how they never had... It's just...
Following the lump in her throat, Trixie brushed a lock of hair behind her ear. The truth is, neither have I. I'll be damned. Maybe we could... Yeah? You know... Yeah? Aria's lips met Trixie's, and the two embraced each other as their kiss locked them together. For what felt like an eternity, they stayed together, but in reality it was more like half a second, because at that moment, Adagio snorted, causing them to stop suddenly and look at her. Covering her mouth, Adagio snorted again. Ooh! Ooh! Did they finally kiss? Shouted Sonata as they came running up behind Adagio. Her face full of excitement was crestfallen when she saw Trixie and Aria staring dumbfounded at them, blushes on their faces. Aw, darn! I missed it! Oh, that's that moment ruined. Blushing furiously, Aria covered her face with her hands, muttering, "Oh my god, somebody please kill me already!" Trixie
will oblige. Trixie will be more than happy to oblige.
Oh, by the way, as Adagio went to heft her bat, all four of them started to hear a loud buzzing sound overhead. They looked around for the source of the noise and scanning the sky. Trixie's eyes went wide, her arms falling limp to her side. No freaking way.
And?
Squinting, the four of them stared upwards as a helicopter began to descend towards them from the sky. Aria shook her head. An actual helicopter. I seriously didn't see that coming.
They didn't even signal. How that work? What?
In silence, they watched the helicopter descend even further, eventually landing on the roof. As the engine was killed and the rotors began to slow down, a figure emerged from the cockpit, her hair billowing and the still blowing wind along with her lamp. Alpha?
Cult? Wait,
Twilight?
what?
Twilight? Said Trixie, cocking her head to the side. What are you doing here? In the helicopter, no less. Alpha... Twilight waved her hand. Oh, that old thing? I built it out of spare parts years ago. Anyway, the more pressing matter is, what are you all doing here? So, Alpha somehow built a helicopter out of spare parts. Fuck it, I'm not questioning it.
Let's just fuck it. Let's go, finish it.
For tomorrow, so yeah. Adagio used her bat to point at Twilight. You know this girl? She used to go to my high school, said Trixie, squinting like she wasn't sure if it was an illusion or not. But she hasn't been around for months. Twilight chuckled. Yes, well, as you can tell, I've had other things on my mind in school. See, she said, stepping closer to them, it all started when I discovered there was a portal to another world in the statue outside at Camelot High. Hang on a second. When did this fic come out? October 1st, 2014. Okay, so did Alex Mavitt somehow predict what was going to happen at the end of Rainbow Rocks and the Friendship Games?
Probably.
Wow.
It's just...
That must be how we got in, said Aria under her breath. She looked up at Twilight. That doesn't explain the zombies, though. Unless it came from this other world. What? No, said Twilight, again waving her hand dismissively. No, that's a whole nother crazy, totally unrelated thing. My dog died a few days ago, and I was trying to bring him back. Good news is I managed to do it. Bad news is... well, you can guess the bad news.
That's what you get.
It was Alpha's fault, was it?
That's what you get for playing God, you dumb bitch.
I need your help. In any case, since you four are here, I need your help with something very important. Well, hang on a second, MacGyver, said Trixie. She nodded at Aria. You've got someone who's been bit here. Is there any way you can cure her? Well, I suppose that depends on how loose your definition of the word cure is, said Twilight, reaching for something in the front pocket of her lab coat. Aria stood up, sighing. Sound like I've got much choice, I suppose. She kicked at the ground. I wish we'd never left Equestria. This sucks. Twilight's eyes widened. Did you say Equestria? God damn it.
Wait. What's gonna happen?
Oh, this is perfect! Twilight started to bounce excitedly. If you're from a different world, then you can't turn into a zombie because the zombies are from our world. Huh?
Okay.
Fuck it. Is that how it works? Said Sonata, cocking her head to the side. Twilight nodded quickly. Oh yeah, no, that's like totally a thing. Anyway, since we got that sorted out, perhaps you girls would like to join me. Join you in what? Said Adagio warily, her hand still resting on her bat. Grinning, Twilight extracted a bizarre-looking gun from her front pocket and held it up. Curing this plague. I don't know, said Trixie hesitantly. What, you got something better to do? Said Twilight, raising her eyebrow. Come on, she said, waving towards her helicopter. I've got more guns in the chopper. Oh my.
Well.
Hurrying back into the pilot seat, Twilight patted the seat beside herself. Trixie glanced at Adagio, then at Aria. I mean, it's not like we've got a better plan. Adagio shrugged. Sure, what's the worst part that could happen? Slipping her hand into Trixie's, Aria nodded. I'm with you too. It's not a fist pump. Sweet! It's zombie killing time! As the four girls headed towards her, Twilight grinned. She hovered her hand over the ignition. Get in, losers. We're going hunting. The end.
Well.
Shit, Alpha's packing heat.
And everybody is going to have some great fun.
Well, this was quite a way to close the hype off. And now we've only got... And Final Prank's got the right idea. Brutalite confirmed.
Oh, alright. At least this made me feel a little better.
Yeah. So, I guess that's it. I think I'm going to go do as I said and watch the first two Equestria Girls films in preparation for tomorrow. This was a fun fanfiction.